Hey there, CPO here, and I had a few minutes hanging out in the Jeep, and I wanted to go ahead and take this time to show you a product that a buddy of mine, Chris, actually got to check out. He's sort of the local CB and amateur radio nerd, and I use that term with very high respect. He's a very smart guy. So he got this, checked it out, and then gave it to me to check out, and I thought, why not? Why won't I just share that with you guys? So this is something I've been kind of interested in. And I know a lot of people in the Jeeping community, off-road community, have been looking for this new Uniden Bearcat. This is the CMX560. So this is the direct competitor to what I'm currently running, which is the Cobra 75WXST. A lot of people have this. It's a nice all-in-one CB radio. The mic and controls are all integrated, which means you hide away the brain, and then this is all you have to worry about. There are some things I really don't like about this CB. I'm hoping that this Uniden sort of solves that for me, but time will tell. But let me at least talk to you a little bit about the Uniden and how it differs from, as far as without installing it, what I can find that it differs from this Cobra. All right, just simply pulling the handset out of the bag, I can give you a couple of first impressions. Number one, I really like the way it feels in the hand. It's a lot lighter, actually, quite a bit lighter and smaller than the Cobra. Surprisingly so. I didn't actually expect that. Yeah, at first I thought it was kind of ugly. But the more I look at it, the more I actually kind of like the design, the sort of square, blocky shape. And I'm surprised it's much lighter. This is more of a fat, bulkier sort of a thing. I mean, even if you compare the width, I was not expecting that. So, yeah, that's significantly smaller than the Cobra as far as what you have to deal with in your hand. Now, I'll tell you one thing I immediately like about this that I despise with the Cobra is your push to talk button over here is all by itself. You just push it and talk. The problem I have always with the Cobra is that you've got the push to talk button here, but you also have your channel up and down here. So sometimes I'll reach in a hurry and I'll grab it and I'll hit the channel down button when I think I'm talking, and I'm really just changing the channel. And nobody can hear what I'm saying, and now I can hear nobody because I'm on the wrong channel. I hated that about this radio. So you have to get used to finding that button. But with this one though, there's only one thing to hit over here. It's pretty easy to find, and you can't accidentally change the channel. So I'm already liking the idea of that. Just sort of giving you my first thoughts. But one fundamental difference is the volume buttons. Now, the volume buttons on this Uniden are over here, and they're stepped volume changes versus the dial on the Cobra. So that may be a good thing or a bad thing. Same thing with the squelch, actually. So squelch adjust buttons are here. You have a dial on the Cobra. So what that means is, and this may or may not bother you, so you can't do a gradual increase of either volume or squelch, or decrease for that matter. It's stepped. So that means that sometimes you might find your place where you want to be in between those steps, but you can't get there. So you've got to compromise and pick. Either you get more volume or more squelch than you really wanted, or you get less volume and less squelch than you really wanted, because you can't sort of rock that dial in the middle to find the sweet spot like you can on the Cobra. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. I'll have to play with it to see. But that is something to note. And that might be the only negative thing we've been able to figure out with this. So here's the actual transceiver for the Uniden, and I will say it's a little bit larger than the Cobra, so that may be an issue. The brain is what I like to call it. I'm not going to show you the one for the Cobra because mine is installed behind the glove box. This will fit in that position, I'm pretty certain, but it is bigger. And maybe, you get a smaller head unit, basically a mic, and a larger transceiver. it's got these standard sort of connections. You've got your antenna connection, you've got 12 volt power and ground, and a fairly lengthy cable to go along with that for power. Of course, mounting brackets. It does have an external speaker jack, which is important for these small ones. I run an external speaker because I usually find that these little speakers up front don't give me enough power. And on the front of this is where the handheld microphone and speaker plug in. I do like how it appears to be sealed from the elements with this rubber boot, so if you had it exposed, that part, it should be fairly well protected. And of course, now I can't get the dang thing out. It's a tight fit. I'm gonna have to stick something down in there to release that. All right, so let me give you a couple of the specifications on this out of the manual. It's a 40 channel CB, typical CB, frequency range 26.965 to 27.405 megahertz, phase locked loop synthesizer. Operating temperature is, 22 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and 13.8 voltage for the input side. It has a 2 amp max current drain at transmission, and on receiving side at max audio, it's a 930 milliamp max drain, so it doesn't pull a lot. Comes with a 3 amp fuse. And the weight overall with the microphone and everything included is 4 pounds 3 ounces, but again, this guy is pretty lightweight. The transmitter has a 4 watt output power, and that's at the 13.8 voltage. And hum and noise is better than 40 decibels. Frequency tolerance is plus or minus 100 hertz. Spurious harmonics emission is negative 65 dBc, and the output impedance is 50 ohms, unbalanced. All this is pretty typical stuff for a in-vehicle mounted CB radio. And so the max sensitivity on the receiver is negative 113 dBm. Audio output power is 2 watts at max volume. Squelch sensitivity, threshold at squelch 1 is minus 110 dBm, and then tight at squelch level 3 is negative 47 dBm. Adjacent channel rejection 60 dB. So anyway, that's the specs. Basically, oh cool, got a little 10 code guide in here. It's a typical mobile CB. I'm gonna put this in. I'm really actually excited about this. I like the look of this thing more and more, and I like the fact that it's so lightweight and not quite as bulky in the hand. Again, I was not expecting that much of a difference. So yeah, that's it, guys. I just wanted to show this to you. I'm gonna get this installed, and I'll play around with it a little bit more, give you some of my feedback. But I know some of you have been looking to see this thing, and I figured at best, at least a comparison with my Cobra 75, so you can see sort of how it compares. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.